to speak. So our first up will be Scott Stone.
Well, I'm not one to stand behind something. I like to talk to people. This thing looks like people are moving it around anyway. I am Scott Stone. I am running for Adams County Clerk and Recorder. And I want to say thank you to all of you for inviting us here to talk to you and let you know what we believe. Most of the candidates for this office know most of the problems in the office. We've had some audit findings for the last several years that should have been corrected. Those audit findings have led to other problems such as bounced checks, and personally I don't think that's a good reputation to have for the county to be writing bounced checks. Some other problems in the office are with polling places. We've had polling places changed, improper notification sent out to people of where they're voting. Some people may be even disenfranchised by where their polling place is, that they didn't feel proper or safe to go there. That's something I think we need to correct. The other problems in the office are purely of a management issue. There's a lot of inter-office problems in there, and then there's problems with dealing with other elected officials, whether it's the sheriff's office or the treasurer's office or the assessor's office or the attorney or the judge or John Barnard's office. All of those are problems that I think we all want to fix. So the real question is, with a county clerk and recorder that's been there for 12 years, with 12 years of experience, why hasn't she fixed these problems? I think you guys have a very important job to figure out which of the three of us have the best qualifications to fix that problem, or fix all of these problems. And personally, I think I feel I have the best qualifications to fix those problems. And with that, I'll tell you a little bit about myself and my experience and my qualifications. I am married. I have two boys, two little boys, a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. They are very special to me, take up a lot of my time. I'm a native of Quincy, and I have a tight bond to this community. My wife and I decided, as part of our service to our community, we were going to be foster parents. We've taken in other kids. I think it's important that if you have that desire in your heart, it's something you should do. We felt that was our need, and we felt it was important for this community to have responsible parents taking care of our kids. As I said, I'm a native. I graduated from Quincy High. After that, I went on to the University of Illinois, where I got my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. As an engineer, it's natural to me. I want to fix problems. After that, I went on out to Silicon Valley and worked in Silicon Valley for about 10 years, and at the same time, while I was out there, I got my MBA. So I'm very, very comfortable with all forms of business, accounting, and immediately I was moved into management out there. That was about in 1989, so for about the past 25 years, I've worked in one capacity or another as a manager. After that, I moved back to Quincy. I was recruited to come back to Glen Eyre as an executive in the engineering department. I worked out there with Mr. Niederhauser up in the engineering department, and worked there until things started to decline there. At that point, I had a choice. I could either stay in engineering and management, but if I chose to do that, I'd probably have to leave Quincy. My heart's really here in Quincy. So I decided to follow a different path, a path that most of my family has followed. All of my family is business owners here in Quincy. My father was co-owner of Pepin Stone Bach. My brother is owner of Illinois Watch Company, and my little brother is owner of Collision Solutions. In 2000, I decided to open up a business with my partner, Eric Fleming. We formed Fleming Stone Development. We've developed 2 multi-million-dollar subdivisions here in Quincy, Wyndham Estates and Meadow Creek Subdivision. And we've built about 100 homes in the last 12 years. So I've managed that business, managed people, managed employees, handled payroll, handled interrelations with the city, sometimes successfully, sometimes not so. But I was responsible for all the business function. Eric, my partner, was responsible for actually all the construction. I was the businessman. I was the marketing man. 2 years ago, that changed. I took over the whole business. I handled the construction side of it and the business side of it as I bought out my partner. And the company is now Stone & Sons Construction. That's my business. About 6 or 7 years ago, I started getting heavily involved in politics. I started coming into the Republican Party, the Tea Party, even the Fair Tax group. At that time, about 2009, I joined the Quincy School Board Finance Committee and tried to restore some sanity into the budgets, fight for you guys as taxpayers. I got known as the financial hawk on the school board to try to make sure that we were staying within our spending guidelines. In 2011, I was actually elected to the school board. I am currently chairman of the building committee and chairman of the discipline policy subcommittee. I was particularly interested in the discipline policy because I wanted to see personal responsibility restored to our classrooms. That's a big thing for me. I want people to be responsible. I don't want it to be an entitlement mentality. I want that personal responsibility on everybody. So I've been there working as a leader in the school board, working as a manager. I've been the person for the last 2 years that's been leading the contract negotiations. Prior to that, I was a member of the contract team. So I know how to do that. I know how to do the management. I feel I'm very qualified. I hope that you guys will support me, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott. Next we'll have Chuck Benferlo. Charles.
Thank you, Laura. And it's Chuck. Thank you and good evening. My name is Chuck Benferlo, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you this evening. I would like to give you a short bio of myself, and then I will address my views and goals of the office of County Clerk, and why I feel I am the most qualified candidate for the office. I was born and raised in Adams County. My mother and father were actually here this evening, Tom and Mary. They are lifelong residents of Adams County. I attended Quincy Notre Dame High School, and I graduated with the class of 1985. I received a Bachelor of Science from Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, Illinois. Since July of 2000, I've been the branch manager of Central State Bank here in Quincy. My wife Tracy is a 1987 graduate of senior high school here in town. Tracy and I, Tracy's here if you would stand up please. We have 3 wonderful kids, 2 of which are here this evening. Aubrey, if you would. Aubrey is a freshman at Westminster down in Fulton, Missouri, and she just made the dean's list this past semester with a 4.0 GPA. My son Max in the back. Junior here at Notre Dame. My other son, Clay, he's one of a kind. He could not be here this evening. He actually has a basketball game for IESA over at St. Peter's. He's an 8th grader at St. Francis here in town. I value greatly my commitment to my family and my community. Currently, I serve as the president of the Quincy Exchange Club. I'm the vice president of the Rural Adams Development Corporation. I'm the treasurer of the Q&D Foundation Board. I'm also a board member at the Catholic Youth Organization. I'm a member of St. Francis Parish and the Knights of Columbus. I've been a volunteer coach in Quincy for about the past 11 years or so at the YMCA, the CYO, and the Quincy Park District. I currently serve as the Ellington Township Supervisor. In that position, I sit as chairman on the Township Board of Trustees, and I have the responsibility of all the township's functions, including tax assessment, payroll, and accounts payable. Additionally, I'm responsible for developing the township budget. I genuinely feel that I am the most qualified, professional, and dedicated candidate to become your next Adams County Clerk and Recorder. In my career with Central State Bank, I've developed the financial and management skills necessary to make the clerk's office run efficiently. As a banker, I have worked with many of the fine citizens of Adams County to assist them in their banking and lending needs. I've done so with the greatest integrity and dedication to customer service possible. I believe these qualities are crucial in the operation of the clerk's office. My first order of business as county clerk will be to address the issue of repeat violations concerning the clerk's office in the annual independent audit. It reflects very poorly on the office that the auditors have to repeat the same findings 3, 4, or even 5 years in a row. Personally, I think that will be a fairly simple matter to correct the issues with the change of management. I will ensure that these problems will not reoccur going forward. I want to bring a spirit of harmony, cooperation, and open communication between the various county offices that interact with the county clerk's office. I do not feel that the county clerk should be a hindrance to the efforts of these other departments to serve the taxpayers of Adams County. I will promise a climate of cooperation and cohesiveness with the courthouse. It is my plan to bring back unity to the clerk and recorder's offices and make it an office geared to fulfill the needs of the citizens of Adams County. I want to bring the warmth and friendship of a community bank to this office, so that it be an office that efficiently serves all of the citizens of Adams County. I will promote fairly and efficient elections for the county. I review all of the current polling locations to ensure they are safe and accessible to all voters. I will promote public awareness of any changes in polling locations to ensure that all taxpayers have the opportunity to make their vote count. I believe that one of the functions of the county clerk should be to educate our youth in the political process so that they understand the process and can make a wise choice come election day. To that end, I would like to develop a program that will allow me to reach out to the high schools in the county. I would like to develop a program, and meet with those young people who are or soon will be 18 years of age or older. I would like to provide a means for them to register and vote. I would like to implement a plan to encourage our elementary and middle school students to learn about the election process so that they may understand the value of their independence. I feel it's imperative that we educate our future leaders in this fundamental process. I will always be an active volunteer in our community, but I promise I will serve as your full-time county clerk and recorder. I ask for you to vote for Chuck come March 18th. Thank you.
And next is Becky Weed.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Becky Weed. I appreciate your time and the opportunity to tell you why I'm the better candidate for Adams County Clerk and Recorder. I'm a conservative Republican running for the office. I'm currently on the Adams County Board, having been elected in 2012 in a traditionally Democrat district. I have 3 primary reasons for running for this office. I want to bring financial responsibility, accountability, and great constituent service to the office. Number 1, financial responsibility. Every year, the Adams County Board hires a firm to audit the books. This is not just to see if someone's robbing the bank, but to be sure our office holders are abiding by state and federal laws, and to determine if they're properly conducting the financial affairs of their offices. I've examined the annual audits of the county board for the last several years, and I've learned that the county clerk, again, has been cited for findings in the bookkeeping and the payroll responsibilities of the office. You may ask, what are findings? As simply, there are significant errors in the financial reporting, and measures need to be taken to address the issues. I can solve these findings by bringing payroll back into the office, at the same time saving the county $40,000 a year. However, if payroll continues to be subcontracted, I will make sure that the county treasurer, the auditing firm, and the finance committee of the county board will have access to the payroll records and vendor. Number 2, accountability. I will continue to be accountable to the citizens of Adams County. I will follow the state statutes and the recommendations of the auditing firms. I will conduct a full review of the county's this office's procedures to be sure that the procedures used are the most efficient. I will work with the staff of this office, the county departments, and the county board to be sure everybody's working together for the citizens of Adams County. Number 3, great constituent service. The most important duties of the county clerk is to register voters and conduct elections. When I'm county clerk, I will make sure that everyone knows where to vote, the equipment is in good working order before it leaves the courthouse, and in order to minimize the wait lines at the polls. We've all heard horror stories about hour-long waits to cast your ballot. I'm dedicated to making sure the voting process in Adams County runs as smoothly as possible. The citizens of Adams County deserve nothing less. Even though the present county clerk has decided not to seek re-election, the problem still exists in this office. As an insurance professional for over 23 years, I have the office, management, and people skills necessary to solve the problems in this office. When I ran for county board in 2012, I quickly learned that the citizens, personal contact with the citizens in District 2 was sorely needed. As I walked door to door, I met with voters who thought nobody cared about them or what they thought was important in Adams County. As I talked face to face with these voters, I found that they wanted to meet with me. They were eager to talk about the issues and their concerns. As the Adams County Clerk and Recorder, I will continue to listen to the citizens of Adams County. Several people have asked me, how can I be involved? How can I help with your campaign? All campaigns need money. Beyond that, we need help with yard signs, helping with mailings, making phone calls, or just come door to door with me and see how the hard work that goes into getting the opinions of the public and finding a way to address those. Or invite me to your neighborhoods, your towns. Give me the opportunity to meet your family, your friends, your organizations, and to earn their vote. There's a couple of volunteer sign-up lists out here. If you want to bring responsible government and great constituent service to the office of Adams County, please sign up. I'm the only candidate with county government experience. By the time I take office in December, I will have 2 years' experience, and I will be familiar with all of the duties of the county clerk and recorder's offices. Finally, I'd like to express my appreciation to my fellow county board members, Selden Toach, John Highbritter, Lyle Nichols, Mark Peter, Brian Niekamp, for endorsing my candidacy for county clerk and recorder. I appreciate your vote on March 18th. I'm happy to take questions, as everyone else will, and a visit with you individually or with your groups or organizations. Again, I appreciate your time, your consideration, and your vote on March 18th.
All right, now we're going to do some questions, and I'm sure people have some. We're going to back this up a little bit, and we were trying to figure out how best to do this, and since we have such a wonderful crowd, and I'm thrilled, is we're going to have the candidates stand here, and if you ask a question of one of them, the other two will have the opportunity to respond as well, if they want to. If you address it to one individual, or if you address it to all three, then they each will. But if I could have them come back up, Chuck, Becky, Scott. Scott, you just can't walk because of the camera. But come over here and just stand in front of the podium, and we'll go from there. So, questions?
I
Lyle?
have a question for all three. You all three have good careers. Why would you want to give that up and run for county?
Wait,
I'll go first.
wait a minute.
I'll
we have
repeat the
some
question.
questions here. Can we
I'll
have the
repeat
question
it.
repeated?
Lyle asked, they all have good careers. Why would they give up their careers to run for county clerk, recorder of deeds? And that's to all three.
My whole life, I've basically had an attitude of service. I'm a member of several clubs, Exchange Club, Knights of Columbus. I'm really devoted to serving the community. I've been at Central State Bank for 13 years. I love being there. I just kind of decided to take a different avenue. We just went through an FDIC audit back in December. We got the highest score we've gotten since I've been there. We're ranked a 2. For those of you that know, 1 is the highest. We're ranked a high 2, almost a 1. Best score we've ever got since I've been there. We're doing very well financially. We're having a great time there. Just kind of decided I wanted to do something different. Kind of want to give of myself to the community. I love Adams County. I love Quincy. I love being in the area. I just kind of wanted to have a little change. My kids are older now where I can do something like this. When they were young kids, I never had enough time. I was always with them, always devoted to them. So now is an opportunity for me to give back to the county that's given so much to me.
My experiences on the county board have been very rewarding, and the experiences working with the courthouse, the other departments, I can see myself doing this full time. And running for county clerk gives me the opportunity to do this, and I'm well qualified to take on the challenges of this office.
This was not an easy decision for me to do this. I started thinking about this back in February. I do have a very large business and successful business. However, I've also made the decision to move into the political arena starting back as far as 2008 when I started getting involved with the Bobby Schilling campaign and helped him win election in 2010, and then moving into the school board myself. This was a direction I wanted to move. It was just coincidental that when this position came available, that my business is at a point where I'm going to have to make a critical decision soon. The subdivision you live in, Lyle, Wyndham Estates, is almost full. My other subdivision, Meadow Creek, is almost full. If I continue in that line of business, I'm going to have to buy some more real estate and develop some more land. So it was an opportune time for me to consider the change. And after working with Bobby, working on the school board, it's something I found I like, working for the community, doing what's best for the taxpayers, and trying to help them out.
Next question?
Yes. Could you tell examples where there's negative audit conditions, maybe you've worked with at a bank or a public entity, where you had to address them? Because that's something that I think all three brought up, or at least two of you did, about the negative audit conditions that the county board has. Can you give examples of how you've had to deal with them, either in public entities or in private entities, and how you work to eliminate negative audit findings?
What Jeff's asking is, he's talking about negative audit findings that have been at the clerk recorder's office, and how would the three of them, how have they dealt with them in the past, and how would they deal with them in the future? Scott, do you want to go first?
Sure. As Jeff knows, we've had many audit findings on the school board. The big issue with the school board is a lot of the control over the function of how those things happen is handled at the administrative level. So our direction is only direction and basically we have the authority to basically hire or fire somebody if they don't follow our direction. Our direction to the business manager was to work with the accounting firm and decide what was appropriate to address and how to address it. As far as the audit findings in this office, I think the clerk has more control over that, and I would be, as the clerk, contacting the auditor to ask them directly, how do you want to see this fixed and what are the different options, and with the options, choose the best method to address it.
I work in small insurance agencies for 23 years. And although I've been manager of my department, I've been over 3 or 4 people. And so my auditor's my boss. When things aren't going right and the numbers aren't jiving to show profit, yes, he sits me down and he says, okay, what are we going to do to fix the losses? we need to be making some more money. So I get my team together basically, and I talk with them, and we powwow, and we throw ideas out, and we just develop a strategic plan for going forward, and then we just monitor it over the course of the next few months to see if that's not working. If those ideas are failing, we get back together, we start all over again.
Working at a bank, as you know, we go through 3 or 4 audits every year.
Yeah.
It's just a regular thing. So we've got the FDIC comes in, the state comes in, we go through safety and soundness audits, we go through IT audits. So it's just a regular thing. Essentially, it is proper procedure. It's what's going to take care of the audit findings. So you want to make sure you don't have repeat violations. I mean, that's essentially what the auditor is coming back in and looking for. It's what did we find last time? We want to see if they still have that issue. So the major thing is to correct what you've had, problems you've had in the past. That's going to be basically with proper management and proper procedures being in place, educating your employees so that they know the right thing to do so you don't have that issue. And then just being aware of all the new changes in the law. And that's the biggest thing at the bank is every day there's something different coming down the pipeline, a different way to do something. Not necessarily the right way to do something, but a different way to do something. So you got to kind of be able to change. You got to be very able to educate yourself and educate those you work with. As long as you follow procedures and have proper procedures in place, you can correct any kind of issue that you've got. Make sure it doesn't repeat itself going forward, and then that'll make yourself, much easier to carry out the regular everyday business.
Thank you.
Part of the duty of the county clerk is to be clerk to the county board. For an average person trying to find either an ordinance or some action of the county board, especially an old one, is next to impossible. Do any of you have any ideas on how to make the records of the county board more user-friendly?
Did you all hear that? How to make the county board records more user-friendly.
Becky, you want me to start?
Yeah, sorry.
Actually, there's the way to, when you load those documents into the computer system, that you can make them a searchable Word document.
They only go back so far.
Okay, so we're not talking about in the computer. Well, I have John High Credit right now.
Well, and that's the problem. The people who try and find stuff for the county board has passed, old ordinances, etc., can't do that, and it's next to impossible to find anything that the county board has done. And
fortunately, many of us think that that's an unnecessary expense.
That would be very expensive to get all that into a computer system or something like that. If we're someday awarded some, I don't know, in somebody's will, a couple of $1 million that we just dedicate to something like that, we're welcome to look into that.
I think that's about, either one have any other comment, I think, but. Questions? Thank you all very much.